The rain had started suddenly, the kind that turns quiet streets into mirrors of gray sky and rushing water. It drummed against the windows of Daniel Carter's small house while he stood in the kitchen drying the last dinner plate. His 5-year-old daughter Lily sat at the table coloring a crooked rainbow with intense concentration. Daniel glanced at the clock. Almost bedtime. Life had been quieter since his wife passed away 2 years earlier. Quieter, but also heavier. Every day felt like balancing a fragile world in his hands, working long shifts at the warehouse, making sure Lily had dinner, helping her with school, trying to be both parents at once. Sometimes he wondered if he was doing enough. A sudden knock at the door startled him. It was late, and their street rarely had visitors. Daniel wiped his hands on a towel and walked to the door carefully. When he opened it, a woman stood on the porch, soaked from the rain. Her dark hair clung to her face, and she held a phone in one hand like it had just betrayed her. She gave an awkward laugh. "I know this sounds crazy," she said breathlessly, "but, could I possibly use your bathroom?" Daniel blinked. Of all the things he expected to hear, that wasn't one of them. She must have noticed his hesitation because she quickly added, "My car broke down 2 blocks away, my phone died, and the gas station I passed was closed. I've been knocking on doors and, well, I promise I'm not a serial killer." For a moment Daniel just stared. Then Lily's small voice floated from behind him. "Daddy, who is it?" The woman looked past him and smiled softly when she saw the little girl peeking around the corner. Daniel sighed, stepping aside. "Come in before you freeze." "Thank you," she said quickly, stepping inside. Water dripped from her coat onto the floor. Daniel pointed down the hallway. "Bathroom's the second door on the left." She hurried off with visible relief. Daniel grabbed a towel and wiped the floor while Lily walked over, studying the door curiously. "Is she lost?" Lily whispered. "Something like that." A minute later the woman came back down the hallway looking far less panicked. She exhaled deeply. "You have no idea how grateful I am," she said. Daniel shrugged. "Life happens." Up close she looked younger than he first thought, maybe early 30s. Her eyes carried the tiredness of someone who had been having a long day. "I'm Emily," she said. "Daniel." Lily waved enthusiastically. "I'm Lily." Emily smiled. "Well Lily, you and your dad just saved me from a very embarrassing situation." Lily giggled. Daniel gestured toward a chair. "You should sit for a minute. I can charge your phone." Emily hesitated. "You really don't have to." "It's fine." He handed her a charger from the counter. She sat down while the phone powered on slowly. "Thank you," she said quietly. Most people didn't even answer the door. Daniel didn't know what to say to that. Kindness used to feel normal. Now it seemed like people treated it like a risk. Lily climbed into the chair beside Emily. "Do you have kids?" Lily asked bluntly. Daniel cringed. "Lily." But Emily laughed. "No, I don't." "Why not?" Daniel cleared his throat. "Okay, time to draw somewhere else." Lily skipped back to the table, humming. Emily watched her for a moment, something thoughtful in her expression. "She's adorable." Daniel's voice softened. "Yeah, she keeps me going." Emily studied him. "Single dad." "Yeah." She nodded slowly, as if understanding more than he said. The phone finally lit up. Emily checked the screen and sighed. "Looks like my car really did give up on me. Tow truck's going to take an hour." The rain outside intensified, rattling the windows. Daniel looked out. At the dark street. "You can wait here. I couldn't impose like that." "You already used the bathroom," he said with a faint smile. Emily laughed again, the sound warmer now. "Fair point." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment while Lily continued coloring. Then Emily noticed the drawings taped to the refrigerator, dozens of them. Stick figures holding hands. Bright suns. Messy hearts. "You kept them all." Daniel glanced over. "Every single one." "That's rare." She checks every morning to make sure they're still there. Emily looked at Lily again, her eyes softening. "You must be a good dad." Daniel shook his head. "I just try not to mess it up." Emily leaned back in her chair. "You know, my dad used to keep my drawings too. Even the terrible ones." "Used to." She nodded. "He passed away last year." "I'm sorry." "Me too." Lily suddenly ran over holding her rainbow. "Look." Emily admired it dramatically. "That's the most beautiful rainbow I've ever seen." Lily beamed. Daniel poured 3 cups of tea and set them down. Emily wrapped her hands around the mug gratefully. You're very trusting, you know, she said after a moment. Letting a random stranger into your house. Daniel shrugged. Sometimes people just need help. She studied him carefully. And sometimes they take advantage. Maybe, he admitted. But I'd rather be wrong trying to help than right doing nothing. Emily stared at him, surprised by the quiet conviction in his voice. Outside, thunder rolled across the sky. Then suddenly Lily yawned. Daniel checked the time. Bedtime, kiddo. 5 more minutes, she pleaded. 3. Lily hugged Emily before skipping down the hallway. Nice meeting you. Emily looked genuinely touched. You too. When Lily disappeared, the house grew quieter. Emily took a slow sip of tea. Your daughter trusts people easily. She learned it from someone. Emily smiled faintly. My dad used to say the same thing. Another pause passed. Then Emily spoke softly. Can I tell you something strange? Sure. When I knocked on your door tonight, I wasn't just desperate for a bathroom. Daniel raised an eyebrow. I was having one of those days where the world feels cold. You know. He nodded slowly. I knocked on 5 houses before yours. No one answered. That's rough. I started thinking maybe people just stopped caring. She looked around the small kitchen, the drawings, the tea, the quiet warmth of the room. But then you opened the door. Daniel shifted uncomfortably. It wasn't a big deal. Emily shook her head. It was. Her phone buzzed suddenly. Tow truck's here. She stood, slipping her coat back on. At the door she paused. I don't know how to thank you. You don't have to. She hesitated, then pulled out a business card and placed it on the counter. If you ever need help, call me. Daniel glanced down. The name on the card made him blink. Emily Harper. Under it was the logo of one of the largest community foundations in the state. You run this? She shrugged modestly. My dad started it. Daniel looked back up, stunned. You knocked on doors for a bathroom. Emily laughed. Money doesn't make emergencies less urgent. He smiled. Fair enough. She stepped onto the porch, rain now softer. Before leaving she turned back. Daniel. Yeah, tonight reminded me that good people still exist. Then she glanced toward the hallway where Lily slept. You're raising one too. With that, she walked into the rain. Daniel closed the door slowly. For a moment he just stood there holding the business card. Sometimes kindness feels small. Just opening a door. Just sharing tea. Just trusting someone who needs help. But sometimes those small moments remind people that humanity still lives quietly in ordinary homes. And that can change more than we ever realize.